Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to the Anime Talk, the show where I sometimes talk from perspectives that I don't fully understand. No, but seriously, if you haven't seen the title, what we're gonna be talking about today is how do parents react to anime. Essentially, I want to talk about that and kind of like show people that there's a lot of different things. I mean, there's a story for everything. Honestly, I have heard everything in the anime world. I mean, like in my 20 plus years of anime watching, and that's I'm not counting, of course, because I'm 26, but I'm not counting the 5 years that I probably was a little kid and wasn't watching anime. What's funny about the parents getting into anime is something that is very different for everyone. I've had some friends of mine tell me that their parents refuse to watch anime. I've had some parents say they ban anime in their house. I've had some friends tell me they watch anime alongside their children. I've heard it all. It is not even like there is so many different like twists and variables to it that I don't think there is a control in this case because honestly, parents will react to anime just as most people will to anything that is foreign to them. Now, let's talk about first off how, I think most parents in general react to anime. Most parents, if they've never been introduced to anime, if they've never been, I mean, like, they can't even see the old stuff like Gigantor, Speed Racer, we can't, nothing. I mean, it has to be virtually only cartoons at best. They will always say the same thing. What are you watching? Is that some kind of cartoon? That is the virtual every single response I've heard from every parent that I've ever met in my life that has ever seen someone else watching anime for the first time when they've never really seen anime in their life before. Now, the more kind of hip way is saying, "Oh, what is that? Some Japanese cartoon?" That was more so, I think, the older generations, the ones that actually did see some of the older animation like Gigantor, Speed Racer, Voltron, etc. And then there is like, what are you watching? Some Asian porn or some sort like that when they walk in on like an etchy scene or something like that, which I think every parent has seen before at one time or another has walked into their kid watching some kind of like questionable scene. And there's really no avoiding that. When parents walk into a room, they have all access to do that. There's no per se. I've always been a firm believer in the old style of raising kids in the sense that you cannot just give your kid 100% freedom. You have to walk in on them once in a while to see what they're doing. So yeah, it might be for a kid or a teenager kind of like, oh, whoa, I'm doing something, I'm watching something, but realistically, hey, that's a parent's job. They got to make sure the kid's doing the right thing. So it's understandable that at one point or another, if you're watching some etchy scene or something that's very questionable, your parent has walked in on you, and it's just funny when that happens. I always think of it as you now have a story to tell everyone else later on, because I mean honestly, those are some of the best stories that say, "Oh yeah, I was watching High School DxD and my mom walked in." Those are funny stories. Those are funny stories to me. But let's talk about why parents react to anime the way they do, and is there some way of getting them into anime? Now, here's the thing: I've always talked about. I'm a decent expert. I'm gonna say right now, I'm a decent expert. That's kind of a oxymoron to say those two words together, but nonetheless, it's kind of relatable here. I've gotten a lot of people into anime, realistically. This is something I don't really per se always brag about. I've actually lied before in the past that I don't do that very often. I've actually got a lot of people into anime. I'm not. It's something I'm part ashamed of because I think there's now like a million more anime people in the world that maybe are super otakus and maybe their life has changed because of me. But also, it's something I am ashamed of because I'm not ashamed of. I'm something I'm proud of. Excuse me, that I have gotten people into anime into something that they're kind of is out of their comfort zone, and I've gotten both people that are young and older. Like I've gotten people that are 40 to 50 plus to get into anime, including my own parents. I mean, I've gotten my parents to watch anime before. It's listen, guys and girls, it's not impossible. I will give you some tips at the toward the end of the video of how to do this, but let's first talk about how parents react to anime, why they react to it. So, like anything else, when you see something on screen that's, I want to say questionable, let's put it that way, very questionable at times, you're going to react to it because you don't understand it. It's like anything else. Like if you walked in on someone doing something that you were like, wait, what are you doing? You aren't going to process because your brain is not going to process it right away. That's just human nature. We don't process everything in a snaps decision moment. We have to actually like take it into our actual brains. It has to go through our synopsis, and then we realize, oh, that's what you do. Okay, parents are like that with anime too. It's a lot of times where you have to kind of little them into anime. You have to like work around their kind of preferences. So, for example, if a parent is per se new to anime or even that really wasn't a cartoon watcher when they were younger, they will never fully understand your concept of watching anime because they will never fully understand how cartoons or anime was in their time period because they weren't growing up with that. And a lot of times this may cause like some friction because they think, well, what are you doing wasting time? Because they don't really see the entertainment factor. And this is more so toward the stricter parents because I've met some strict parents that refuse to understand that, hey, listen, it's just entertainment. It's not really anything more than that. But it's understandable because where they're coming from, it's a waste of time. That's just how it is. It's not per se they're trying to be mean about it, but it is how it is. For those people, I always say to approach them in a very kind of easygoing way. Because if you go right at them right away with like, oh no, it's just entertainment, they're not going to understand that. If you go, oh well, I'm just watching something that is fun to me, they may understand a little more. Now, if you go, okay, well, I'm watching a show that's Japanese animation, it actually takes, if you go into a very analytical point of view, I know this sounds kind of stupid and weird, but if you actually go into analytic point of view with people that are very, kind of strict with anime, it actually will help you a little bit. Try this one day, truly. It actually does work. Because then the parent will be like, oh, that's amazing. Wow, technology has really come far. Or they might go, oh, you know what, that's pretty cool. And they might even look at it and watch a little bit alongside of you. Now, the kind of warning symbol that I'm making a giant X on my hands here is that only works with things that are not ecchi. Ecchi anime is one of the biggest no-nos to getting someone that's older into anime. I'll tell you that right now because it's weird. No matter what you think of it, no matter how you find it entertaining, no matter what, ecchi and parents do not mix. That's a bad thing. You do not want to show a parent some girl half dressed or something like that, or doing some weird thing that's fan service. You don't want to do that. They're not going to understand that fully, and they're going to look at it very strangely. So maybe something like Cowboy Bebop, for example. Cowboy Bebop is a lot of mature content. A parent can understand that and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Something like Claned, which Claned is comedy, but it's also endearing. It's got a lot of family values and moments that are in it that are interesting and dramatical. They will see that too and be like, oh, okay, interesting. That's very nice. Wow, that's that is just how you have to approach them. Now, with people that have come from anime, same thing, same rules apply, but the only difference is that it's a little bit easier to explain to them. Oh yeah, I'm watching anime, and they'd be like, wait, that's anime? Holy shit, times really changed. And you'd be like, yeah, this is like 2010 or 2012 or whatever type anime that came out in whatever year it came out. And that is an easier way of kind of going into that, bridging across that like ravine that is your parent when it comes to that. Now, I promised you guys I would give you some advice to how to kind of approach it, but I'm gonna say one more thing about parents in anime. You have to understand that anime, cartoons, I think anything is something that kind of goes with the age group. I'm not. I've made an anime talk about this actually before, where I talked about age in anime and stuff like that. Like, are you ever too old per se to be considered to watch anime? And I don't think that's true. I just think that it's harder to understand something that you have not grown up with. And that's why you have to be kind of, calm when people say, oh, what are you watching, child stuff? Or why are you watching this? Because they don't fully understand. If you react to fire with fire, you're going to get just a bigger flame. It's just going to be an explosion of, I don't like you watching this, blah, blah. It's going to be a whole thing that you don't want to deal with. That's why I always say that parents are understandable when they don't like anime or are not understanding of it because, hey, it's just the age barrier. It's just the age time. It's everything. It's like technology. A lot of parents don't fully understand technology because they didn't grow up with it. It's foreign to them. So, and the thing is that if you think about it from your perspective, isn't there something that you just now see and you're like, wait, that exists? Holy crap. You don't know how to approach it. You want to like be happy about it? Do you want to be like, oh, why is that even a thing? It's just because that's how we process things as human beings. We don't do right away just go with the flow of things all the time. And if you do, you're lying to yourself because you have to kind of ease into something. That's why it's understandable when parents react to that. And have patience with them, guys and girls. It's something they will eventually learn. If they don't learn it, it's just something that you'll always have to kind of keep them back with to a certain fact to realize, hey, they just won't like it because they don't fully understand it. Now, here's my little tips and guidelines. I'm going to give you several at least. Maybe not several, maybe like a few. Of how to ease a parent into anime. Rule number 1, do not Again, I said this earlier, but I'll say it again. Rule one: do not approach any parent, no matter what their age. It could be 30 to 50, I don't care, with ecchi anime or harems or anything like that. They are a no-no for parents, guys and girls, because they will not understand it. They will see it in a very sexual tone, and they may cause a lot of strife in your household when it comes to anime watching later on. And I've met people that have tried to do this before. Oh yeah, it's just look, it's just cool animation stuff like that. Parents, unless they're really super cool, which is, I'm not saying that you have to be a super 100% cool parent, but I'm just saying the ones that are very free verse, like everything is, oh, that's okay, that's just a way of expressionism or stuff like that. Those are parents you could do stuff like that without, those, and that's something I'm not even applying to this because those are parents that are open to everything for the most part. But for most modern day parents and for more traditional parents, you cannot use ecchi and harems to be the kind of first anime they watch. No, rule number two: find what your parent likes. That's not that hard, folks. I know what my parents like very easily. It's not something that's very rocket science to figure out what they like. My dad likes action. He likes mature stuff. So we watched Berserk, we watched Psycho-Pass, Cowboy Bebop. That's mature content. That is stuff that you could watch with someone that likes mature content. Female perspective, maybe they like comedy, maybe they like more romantical things. Garden of Words, 5 centimeters per second, Clanad, stuff that's romantic, comedy involved, but more so at a lenient pace. Now, this is not I'm not, you're gonna say, oh, it's gender biased. No, 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 it's not like that. It's just that most parents go toward this. But the kind of concept I'm trying to aim at is find what your parent, your mom or dad, or your guardian, or whatever you want to call, go with here. You have to find what they like before they can understand it. And when they do like it, keep showing them things of that nature till they're 100% into your anime like. Now, what you can do from there is then rule number three. Rule number three is weed them into newer stuff. So with my dad, we watched, of course, like I said, Berserk. We watched Psycho-Pass. I just started watching, I think Steins Gate with him, which was very out of his comfort zone because Steins Gate is kind of like a comedy. It's kind of a lot of traditional stuff that's more so very out of the ordinary. But he liked it. He was bored a few times with it because it's understandable. It's kind of like you have to understand some Japanese culture and stuff like that, and I understand more than him when it comes to that. But it was something that weeded him into a kind of different anime taste, so now he could watch other stuff that's like that and be like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Or maybe he'll not like it, but at least he'll say, yeah, it's not my cup of thing, but I'll stick with it, or I'll watch something else that's similar. That's what you have to do with a parent. You have to get them fully invested into the anime world before showing them other things. Rule number 4 of sorts is be understanding if they do not ever get into anime. Now, this is kind of more so of a thing. Everything else before that failed, because here's the thing, folks. Like any medium, there are things that we will like as people, and there are things we will dislike. Some people love books. Some people hate books because they hate reading. Just because they'll read 1 or 2 books doesn't mean that they like reading, and later on might not do it anymore if they don't have to. That's why you have to understand that if they don't like anime, or if you kind of push them in a wrong direction at one point and they just kind of totally hate anime, you have to understand and realize that they will never like anime. So just don't watch anime with them, or if they're watching something, watch something that is more kind of approachable. Like maybe that's something more, I don't know, like this is a hard one because this is where it's almost impossible to get people that have kind of fully been destroyed of anime to get them into anime, because it's like anything else, but more so in the sense that you have a one shot type thing with this. Most people in general, this is not even just parents, but like most people in general, you fail the first time, and if you don't get them into something, they probably will never like it. It's something that's kind of weird, but that's how human beings are in general. There are plenty of things that I've tried in the past and I didn't get with it, and then I don't like it. Bottom line. So it's gonna be kind of hard, at that point. I'm not saying it's a failed case, but you might have to like kind of rely on just watching something that's really cool. Like, I mean, find like the best thing. Maybe short movies is probably what I can give you as best advice. Like stuff that's like 40 minutes to an hour and a half, because at least then they think, oh, it's a movie, okay. And most people will watch movies, even if it is animated. So then be like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. Is anything like this at all? Then hey, there you go. You got your your second chance to find anime. I'll say right now, though, you'll probably have to stick with movies for a time being, then once they kind of get into it, because then it's kind of back to the square one, but more so even harder, if that makes sense. Now, final rule. This is the big one here, folks. Anime is very subjective, and it's something that you may love at one point and you may not love or whatever. But there are so many different series in the anime world that, remember, just like what I said before in one of the past rules, if you like, I don't know, if you like, let's say, mecha, and your parent hates mecha, do not ever try to force them to like mecha. It is very hard to get a parent to like something that they have no like towards whatsoever. You could only do that when step 3 has been achieved, where you have them 100% into liking anime all types. Because then you could do something like that. But do not skip that. I mean, seriously, like, they have to be the ones asking, do you have something that's different? That is the key word right there, folks. You want to hear that word from your parent or your guardian. Do you like, or do you have something that is different than what I'm currently watching? Because that means one of two things. It means one, they're willing to try something else, or two, they are getting tired of that genre and they kind of want to move on to a different genre. That's when you kind of switch it up. You go back through the steps again, find something else they like, go with that. Simple, right? This is my foolproof method. I've gotten a lot of parents to watch anime, myself included, my own parents. I've gotten other people's parents. I've gotten friends that are older people to watch anime. It's not impossible. It's just something that takes a lot of work, and it's something that I've mastered over the course of my lifetime, but it's not impossible, folks. You follow these steps, trust me. Now, overall, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this anime talk. I know it's kind of long, because I think it was also a self-help tip thing, for God's truth. But, hey, listen, if you can get more people into anime, that's always better for us guys and girls, because a lot of times, it just expands the world of anime to people. And I think that is something that needs to happen more often. Anyways, I will talk to you all later. Have a great day. As usual, hit that subscribe button, hit the share button, hit the like button. You know the whole nine. Bye-bye, everyone.